Hello everyone. I hope you people are doing really great out there. So Lockdown 4.0 is being implemented by the government of India. The entire world has succumbed to this COVID-19, and also the east part of the area like Orissa, West Bengal and also Assam is under the attack of cyclone Amphan. So overall, if you think the time is not good, it's really a very difficult phase of our life, and we definitely go through this difficult time, and ultimately we need to come out with the flying colors, defeating all those bads which is going on as of now, right? So I am Ankur Sharma. I am an assistant professor of Department of Electronics and Communication, Assam Engineering College. So I got this beautiful opportunity from the Vision Nasdaq to deliver a talk on future career as prospect and research scope in the field of electronics and electrical. So though lockdown is going on, the time is not good, but definitely this kind of initiative by the firm like Vision Nasdaq giving us immense hope, especially all the sectors in India or all over the world is immensely affected because of this COVID-19 pandemic. Recession is just around the corner. Even a few countries are started firing their employees. Yet even India, Swiggy also fired more than 1,000 employees a couple of days ago. So you see, overall scenario is getting worse with every passing second, because this COVID-19 has crippled the entire systems. It affected our daily lives, right? But we have to overcome this problem. We have to ultimately we need to become victorious by defeating this COVID-19, right? So this kind of small endeavor, this webinar, is actually very beneficial for the students' fraternity. Okay, so definitely Vision Nasdaq deserves immense credit for that, right? So let me come to this point straight. Since we all know that in India, almost, if you go by statistics, we have more than 2 lakhs engineering colleges, and in those colleges we have almost 16 lakh students enrolled per year, right? And you can see, if I consider 1,000 students, right? If I consider a volume of 1,000 students, out of those 1,000 students, you can see almost 631.37, if I round it off, 632 students out of 1,000 normally prefers electronics engineering, and almost 395 students prefers electrical engineering. You can see the computer science engineering is in top of the chart. Lot of the students prefer it, and mechanical is in the second position. Okay, so but my point is that ultimately India produces 16 lakhs engineers per annum. So do you have enough job opportunities or sectors where these engineers can be absorbed? That is very important question. If you answer me, if you want to answer me honestly, my answer would be no, definitely not. Okay, so I am leaving all these other disciplines of engineering apart, so primarily focusing on electronics and electrical engineering. Okay, so basically in this difficult time, COVID-19, what I can say that we don't have any physical classrooms available as of now, and obviously I like to interact with the students face to face, right? This digital media, this virtual media platform or digital media platform is something like useful, but yes, I always prefer this physical means of interaction with the students. But yes, anyway, since we need to obviously adopt the changes, and definitely this is the need of the hour, that we need to adopt this digital platform, and we need to communicate with the students to motivate them and to keep them focused, motivated, so that they don't distract from their goal, isn't it? So yes, see, so what we can say, like, if you see the number 632 out of 1,000 and almost 395 out of 1,000 electronics and electrical students respectively, I'm just considering this number as of now. So what do you see? What is the job scenario, right? So now it's the COVID-19 is going on. So ultimately, post-COVID area, what would be the scenario? That is the particular scenario is very vague. It's very fuzzy, unclear, right? So obviously, all the students, especially in the 8th semester, are dealing with a very crucial time. They are not sure what to do, how to proceed with their lives. Okay, their life was just about to be started, but suddenly this because of this COVID-19, everything is shattered, because all this placement drive, all this campus recruitment drive have been cancelled for indefinite time, right? So this is a very critical scenario. This calamitous time, we need to keep our focus intact. Definitely it will help us to move further to achieve our goal. Okay, so let me come to this point. What is electronics engineering? What is electrical engineering? If I see in abroad, if I look into abroad, then you don't find any kind of electronics engineering stream in abroad. Why? Because, and even in some institutions, you don't see computer science engineering also, because this electronics engineering or computer science engineering basically come under electrical engineering and computer science. That is the overall department or discipline name. Okay, so it all definitely includes all the fields from electronics, all the field from electrical, and all the field forms subfields actually from the computer science. Okay, so what are the subfields of electronics and electrical engineering? So you can see there's a control engineering, instrumentation engineering, computer engineering, VLSI, signal processing, telecommunications, circuit design, RF engineering, optoelectronics and fiber optics, communication, power systems, power generations, power distributions. Also, I would like to mention one thing. Though these are subfields of electrical or electronics engineering, but apart from this subfields, one thing is very much needed for the current scenario, right? That is the high level skill set in programming. Okay, because you see everywhere this laptop, the computer is immensely needed. Without the computer, you just can't do anything as of now, because everything is either in the simulation based or in the programming based. Okay, until and unless you don't get a good result in your simulation model or simulation project, then ultimately you are not supposed to implement that in hardware. Yes, so that is what. So your computer, you have computer knowledge, especially the programming good skills, programming skills, good knowledge about the simulations, recent software like Cadence, the Python programming. All those things are very much important for electronics and electrical students. Also, there's something called MATLAB and LabVIEW. Especially electrical students, they must know these two softwares in detail. Okay, so I hope you people have come across MATLAB and LabVIEW in your course curriculum, because definitely you have the control system engineering lab, you have the communication lab, right? So digital communication also included in our syllabus. So students are normally quite familiar with the LabVIEW and the MATLAB. Especially instrumentation needs LabVIEW in very depth. Okay, yes. So what are the roles that electrical or electronics engineer will get after they get their degrees from any reputed institutes? So those roles are actually confined to this chief engineers roles, workshop manager, operation managers, verification engineer, engineering technologists, development test engineers. But if you look in this Indian scenario, I would like to tell that we don't have any kind of core company especially for electronics. Yes, in electrical we have core companies like NTPCs, then Larsen and Turbos, then KPIT Cummins. You have a lot of companies, as they found their fit in India for electrical engineer. But what about the electronics? We don't have any core companies as such, right? Because when you talk about the electronics, it ultimately directs you to some semiconductor based setup or semiconductor based module. We don't have that great semiconductor or wafer manufacturing company in India. Yes, government of India has taken some initiative recently. IISc Bangalore is going to be equipped with one of the state-of-the-art wafer manufacturing company. Even we have SCL Chandigarh, that is semiconductor lab approved by government of India. It's one of the leading R&D, has designed a lot of chips, and those chips actually has been incorporated or commissioned by the ISRO also. They are using those chip designed by the SCL Chandigarh. So it's quite obvious that for electronics engineer there is no core industry which can absorb them. Yes, there is some telecommunication or communication based industries, like, so they get a placement in that field, but we don't have core electronics companies in India, because the first reason is that we don't have the wafer manufacturing company, or you can say the reason behind this, because we don't have the enough or good infrastructure. We have a problem. You see, if you there are thousands of gallons of pure water is needed to manufacture a single ship, and the water crisis in India, this is taking a huge toll right now. So obviously, if you look from a layman perspective, providing pure water to semiconductor industry is a very difficult task for the government and for the owners of this company also. So this is why, and there is one more thing, that is the power supply to those companies. They need uninterrupted power supplies again in India, especially the remote areas where all those companies are actually supposed to be established. So there's a big issue with the power generation or supply. So again, it ultimately, the cumulative effect restricts this company to be surfaced in India, and that is why ultimately we don't have enough core jobs for electronics engineering students, isn't it? So, but there's a lot of stuffs, but this electrical and electronics fields actually has a huge effect, or they hugely drive the society in a very good direction, in a proper direction, helps the society. They have a huge impact on the society. We have several fields, like you can say we have analog and radio frequency domain, right? Everything, whether it's analog or whether it's a digital, right? We must to have this electronic circuits in them. Then only it can able to perform some particular tasks, right? Then what we have this communication and signal processing, and you see we have communication and signal processing. Ultimately, this is the driving force of the world, because we have lots of signals, right? We need to process this signal, especially for for the defense sector. This signal processing is really immense, playing a very pivotal role, right? Because you need to intercept all the signals, radio frequency signals or high frequency signals emitting from the your enemy side. You need to decipher it, you need to decrypt it, right? So obviously signal processing is very important for if you see from the defense perspective. Okay, then you have the networking. You see, networking is one of the gift from the modern day engineering, right? Then what you have the computer and digital systems, right? Obviously we have computer vision and image processing, and this is very important. Computer vision and image processing, it helps in the remote sensing. We have the satellite image processing systems, then biomedical image processing. So everywhere this computer vision and image processing creating a very huge impact on the society. Then we have sustainable and energy power systems. Obviously we have traditional power distribution systems. We produce power from the hydroelectricity basically in India, and we have also some thermal power plants and the nuclear power plants. But actually for a longer run, we need to definitely think of this entire scheme has to be very sustainable. It should produce less pollution, right? So it has to be kind of a green energy. That is the concept which is people are thinking about right at this moment, the green energy concept, right? Then we have this optics and photonics. Okay, so ultimately we all know that now ultimately this communication ultimately takes place through the optical fiber technology, OFC, isn't it? So we have control system, robotics, intelligent transportation. So you can see all the submarines, all this aircraft, fighting aircraft especially, all this driverless car, concept of cruise control, right? Everything actually, it is a part of this control system, robotics, right? Then what may be the possible advantages and disadvantages related to these two branches? Okay, so if I talk about the advantages, this industry is actually always in boom. Why? You see, if you say also take a very simple example of the mobile phone. So I don't know how many of you have seen this Nokia 1100. It was a first phone, I think, the Nokia launched in India. It was a huge hit by Nokia at that moment. In the beginning of 2000, I guess, 2000 or 2001, I think that was a big hit in the market. Okay, but now if you consider a recent or latest mobile phone, you see there are a lot of differences. So this is the evolution of electronics industry, right? So, and also the good point of being electronics and electrical engineer is that ultimately we need to learn a good knowledge about the programming, right? So obviously all the IT companies, especially in India, all the IT companies, they recruit electronics and electrical engineer also. So that is why if you remember, I have shown a graph where electronics is in the third place, right? Almost 695 students, they prefer the electronics, and almost 396 students, they prefer electrical, because there is a huge demand in the industry, especially in the IT industry. Okay, and obviously we must to have software, and also we need to have the hardware knowledge. This is quite obvious, isn't it? And without electronics, we can just think of surviving our lives, isn't it? So, but if you talk about the disadvantages, what are these? Obviously, technology, electronics and electrical technologies is always changing, evolving every now and then, right? So that is why to cope up with the recent changes, it is very difficult, right? And also in India, the syllabus is not so updated. We have still those old-fashioned syllabus. But yes, though this is old-fashioned, but that actually deals with the basics. So when you have a very strong basics, you can definitely cope up with the latest technologies or changes, isn't it? So obviously the study, that is what I talked about, right? Old concepts, some of which have been exhausted, but some rarely used. So this obsolete concepts actually still are in the business, right? So we need to just learn those things also, because learning is a very important thing, because you must know the history, what is the basic concept, how this industry has started, electronics came into the picture. We must know about those basics like diode, transistor and all. Okay, so when you know those basics, then only you can move forward with the latest technology. That's what I believe. Okay, so, and also let me tell you that in India, like we have some courses like BSc IT, BSc Electronics, and and also now this ITI concept has also been introduced in India. So ultimately there's a huge competition, right? So a company normally prefers BSc IT or BSc Electronics students over an engineer, because they need to pay less salary. So that is also one problem. But yes, being an engineer, you definitely have some extra advantage. First of all, you are smart enough to deal with any kind of situation, right? So what I believe is that engineering actually is a management kind of job. By default, you have to be a good manager, right? Apart from your all those skill sets, the programming skill set, apart from everything, you must to have a very good management sense. Your presence of mind, your intelligence, obviously it has to be a class apart, right? That is why you see all those good managers in any company, they have the engineering background. Any branch, it's maybe civil, it's maybe mechanical, computer science, electronics, electrical, anything, but they do have an engineering background, because that is the mindset is always different from any BSc IT or BSc Electronics or any management graduate. Okay, so what are the basic companies in India, that actually private firms or companies which recruits most of the students? We all know this: TCS, Infosys, Microsoft, Google, SAP, Capgemini, Accentures. They actually recruit a lot of students through the college drive or the recruitment drive organized in the various colleges of India. Especially Google and Microsoft, they give a very high package to the student graduates from IITs or NITs or some of the private top private engineering colleges. Okay, so obviously if you are good with your academics, if you have a good scorecard, then definitely will get a chance to sit on the campus recruitment drive. And if you have the enough skill set, like you have the good presentation skill, you have the good presence of mind, and definitely you have an extra edge over your friends, and you'll be coming out with the flying colors in the campus recruitment drive with a good amount of package, isn't it? So what about if you are not selected in this campus drive? What are the options open for you? Right, we will be discussing that in a couple of minutes. But let me tell you, if you don't get a job in the campus recruitment drive, the life is not over for you. You have a long journey to complete. So definitely, it should be, it's a matter of time that you will be provided with a new opportunity, a new interview drive, or maybe better option, right? So obviously you need to keep always yourself motivated. Okay, then we have the PSUs. As of now, this is pretty much clear to all engineering graduate that PSU normally recruits through the GATE exam, isn't it? So you have to score GATE, you have to clear the GATE, then and not only just to clear the GATE, because you have to get good marks, good rank must be acquired, right? So that you can be shortlisted for this recruitment drive organized by the various PSUs. So actually in India, PSUs are subdivided into 4 categories: Maharatna, Navaratna, Miniratna 1 and Miniratna 2. This actually is subdivided in 4 categories on the basis of their investment and the profit generation per year. Okay, so if you like to know what is Maharatna companies, this NTPCON, this is SAIL, VAL, IOCL, CIL, Colin, CIL, GAIL, BPCL, they are the Maharatna companies. Okay, then Navaratna is like IEL, BEL, SPGL, NELCO, PGCIL, REC, HAL, everything comes under this Navaratna company. Okay, Miniratna is like Airport Authority of India, BSNL, NHPC, NRL, RailTel. These all are actually Miniratna 1 company. Then Miniratna 2 is something like Artificial Leaf Manufacturing Corporation of India, Broadcast Engineering Consultants India, Rajasthan Electronics and Instruments, Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, and Solar Energy Corporation of India Limited, etc. So this PSUs, basically Maharatna and Miniratna, they have their recruitments through GATE, and Miniratna 1 and Miniratna 2, they have some competitive exams organized by themselves, and also sometimes they have some walk-in. So definitely you can try for all those PSUs, right? But definitely you need to work hard. Okay, and this is my area of interest actually, the startups. Okay, so in India we have this startup program, okay, launched by this recent government. But the thing is that startup is just not about thinking something ultimately, running after the investors. Like it's not like that. Startup means you need to put your soul into it. Okay, then your product would be something different. Obviously in India people are very afraid of doing this startup, because maybe we have lot of family issues. Our parents definitely wants us to become a government employee in maximum cases. If not, then obviously you need to have good corporate jobs, right? But no startups, because we have to go through lot of struggles, and there is no guarantee in success whether it will be a hit or it will be a failure, right? So that is why to remain in the comfort zone or in the safe zone, we need to have a government job in our hand or to have a good corporate job in our hand. That's it. So that is, if you achieve any of this two, ultimately your parents would be happy, or you can say your life is settled somehow. But for me, it's not like that. So this is the platform, the startup. And you see, let me tell you one thing. So being an electronics and electrical engineer, you can design a lot of apps, because right now these apps or through website ultimately anyone can earn a lot of money if the concept is unique, or maybe the concept is okay, maybe it's already existing concept, but it's up to a particular person how he sees the future, right? What are the difference he can make with this existing idea. So then through this anyone can earn a lot of money. And this is COVID-19 is not actually bad phase. Yes, bad phase in terms of we have lots of casualties, right? That is obviously bad, but the thing is that is also an opportunity for a lot of engineers, especially the budding engineers, because you have a lot of time in your hand, you have lot of problem statements. You see, in India there are a lot of hackathons had organized in the past, and lot of hackathons are going on, which is basically online. So this, all the problem statement you can find in the hackathon website are related to the basic problems of everyone's life. Okay, so you can take up any problem, right? Start thinking about it. Definitely you will be having some sort of solutions. Try to formulate it, try to frame it in a proper manner, and start pitching it. We have different formulas, right? D2D, okay, D2C, sorry, dare to compete, okay, there is F6S. So we have a lot of these things. I mean, online portal where you can pitch your startup ideas. If it is selected, definitely then you will be given a lot of funding, seed funding, which we normally say. So that is one of the best part. So when I'm talking about the startup, I would just like to show you some history of the startup. So let's start with this. First topic is that we know the General Electric, right? GE. So obviously there's a father of the GE is nothing but Thomas Edison. Okay, so you say this GE found his feet in 1893 during a recession period. Okay, so just this is just for a motivation, right? And next part is, you can see, this is HP, Hewlett and Packard. This is also came into existence during 1937 and 1938 recession period. Okay, even Microsoft has also established during this 1973, the period of recession. Okay, obviously the Great Recession 2009 2010 we have seen. Why this is called as a Great Recession? Because during this recession the world has witnessed a lot of startups which are running quite well in today also. For example, it's like the WhatsApp, Pinterest, Instagram, the Uber, everything found their feet in 2019, the Great Recession. That is why this is called the Great Recession. It gives the world a good opportunity, right? And definitely the people who are immensely motivated, focused, they are ruling the world right now in 2020, right? So this is why the startup actually is a huge hit. If somebody has guts to approach the startup idea, you need to take it up, and definitely you need to proceed it with it, and definitely you will get a lot of success. Even we know this webinar has organized by this has been organized by this Vision Magitech. But if you go to their website, about Vision Magitech, there is a particular statement which attracts me a lot. You see, this is an IITC startup. Okay, see, this is also a startup idea, and see, this is through this platform today we are having this beautiful webinar. Even I have seen their this webinar schedule. There are a lot of prominent faculties, prominent personalities has delivered their talks, or maybe are going to deliver their talks soon, right? You see, this is also a nice initiative, right? They are doing really good. I know them personally, so that is why I can say they are doing a really commendable job in present scenario. You see the Bohnemann system. I hope you people are aware about this Bohnemann system, because they are handling the NRC issues quite well. So this Boniman is alumni of Assam Engineering College, that too from electronics and electronics and telecommunication department. We have also this Corex.in, one of the startup launched by the Assam Engineering College students, right? So this Corex.in has especially into this website design, this app design, PHP, they provide PHP services and all. So they are doing really good as of now, though it's a small startup, but yes, they're doing a commendable job in that business. So if not the startup, if not the PSU, if not any corporate job, then what else? First, then obviously you have the higher studies, so you can clear the gate, right? You can get into any IITs or any triple ITs or NITs, right? You can pursue your MTech. If not in India, then you can go abroad, pursue your MS. Then you need to get through the GRE, TOEFL. Then you can pursue PhD and postdoc, and you can have a good life. Or finally, you can join some reputed institute as an assistant professor, okay, with a good salary, obviously. Okay. Then next you have this project engineer, R&D, research and development, and civil service, right? So in R&D we have the giant like ISRO, DRDO, CSIR. So they organize their own exams, their own competitive exams. So you need to clear all those. The technical rounds would be there, person interview would be there. So after clearing everything, you can get into R&D sector. You have also the civil engineering platforms, right? So especially IES is for engineers, like we have this BSNL, then Indian Railway, right? We have everything for electrical and electronics, NTPC, NHPC, everything, right? Then you have bank POs, SSB, or any other state government or any or central government job which falls under civil service or any other competitive exams organized by the government of India or the state government of the state governments, right? So you can clear all those exams, you can get a suitable life, right? Then we have this project engineer also in IIT, triple ITs, CSIR, Center Plasma Physics, or any approved projects by any government, central, it may be central or it may be state, or any private firm. Whatever they have this, right? The project, you can engage yourself into their projects. But yes, these projects are actually time bounded projects, so it may be engaged an engineer for maybe maximum of 3 years, not more than that, right? So if not, then you can again look into the defense sectors. Defense also need, Indian Army, Navy and Air Force also need engineers, especially in the communications part. They need to have very sharp minds of electronics and electrical background. So definitely this is also, defense sector is also a very broad field. You don't need to hold the guns in the border, but definitely you need to serve your country. You will definitely get an opportunity to serve your country by because of your technical skill set. So yes, you can consider the defense sector also. And and last, we have this MBA options open for all the engineering graduates from any stream. So obviously electrical and engineering students are also no different, right? So